Right. So, CPI, we are just looking forward to a continuation of the current bearish order flow, especially on the US30. Let me start with the DXY, which is where you actually see how we predict these news events and most likely what they do, especially um the high impact news like your NFP, your CPI, your PPI, and all that and all that. So starting with the DXY, the most important order flow right now on the DXY, the most important order flow right now is the current order flow that is there on the, for example, let me go to the 4 hour, then I'll come back to the lower time frame. Right on the 4 hour, we can see that, let me start on the daily actually. So on the daily, there are two things that are currently happening on the dollar index. Remember, I've been telling you that it's bullish. Yes, it's bullish. And here, this was a confirmation that we're now going up, but this was just a pullback before they shoot up, right? And if you put your Fibonacci on the DXY, you'll see that they actually tapped, they almost touched 61.8, but they actually touched 50% Fibonacci, which is also considered also a very reasonable pullback when it comes to pullbacks. So even when it comes to zones now, when it comes to zones, when it comes to the zone where they've tapped an order flow level. An order flow level is simply, for example, here, this bearish candles that you're seeing flowing in one direction. We consider that whole zone an order flow zone. That was a bearish order flow zone. So in as much as there is a demand in that zone, right? What I'm currently looking at, you see, I'm actually based on the current situation that you're going to see on the lower time frame, you actually see that the DXY, it will shoot up to this level before it may be, if it wants to come and touch here, then it will now come and touch, then go up like this. So you see, you see why I'm anticipating the DXY to go up today. You see that once we are now on the lower time frames. So when you now know that the DXY is going up, already we now have an idea of what CPI will do. Already we now have an idea of what CPI will do. Most probably CPI, during CPI, the dollar, if the dollar is going to go up, US30 definitely it's a fall. Gold, it's a fall. GU, it's a fall. Nasdaq, it's a fall. Um, USDJPY, it's a buy. So already you now have an idea. So going down to lower time frames, 4 hour, 1 hour, even 15, especially 15 minutes. The 15-minute order flow, that's the current order flow that will help you to enter that trade nicely. So now on the 4 hour, you can actually see this bearish order flow that is inside here, which is this inside bearish order flow. This one is it's still coming down. That's why I said it, even after pulling back up there, it can still push further into that extreme, even the extreme here. If it wants to use the 4 hour extreme, it can even come as far as down, 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 down to this. It can even come as far as here, right? But before it comes there, this one, you see why right now it's actually giving this movement. So right now for this moment for today, dollar index and even the rest, I think for today and even the rest of the week, most probably the dollar index, we're looking forward to this pullback before the continuation to the downside like that. So moving further on, the 1 hour, you see that this bearish order flow that we have inside here, obviously it operates under principles. It doesn't just flow like that. So even here, we also have this level where the dollar index can actually tap onto before it drops. Um, Another thing also, even the way it was doing, you know that we always induce like this. They now have a low, they now have a lower high. This was now a lower low. Did they induce? Eventually, they did actually induce. They did induce there. So here now we're just expecting also a similar simple thing, which is this inducement here, That is according to the 1 hour inducement there. Then we tap an untapped level. For example, there's an bearish order flow level. There's also this level here. But this one, I'm not basically anticipating this because it's below our premium zone. Remember, whenever they are pulling back, they prefer usually to, especially when it comes to selling, they prefer to play above the premium level. Premium zone is anything above the 50% Fibonacci. So here you see that this zone is below the 50%, so it's not really the zones that they prefer. This one, this one, and this one. Those are the zones that they prefer to tap into before they drop. So once after you've realized all of this now, the most important order flow or the most important structure now that is important that will help you to even do the overall. Someone here can come and draw a trend line and say this market will go up because it is broken out of a trend line. It's not because of the trend line that the market is going up. No, it's not because of the trend line. I've told you this over and over. Even if the trend line is broken, if structure remains the same, that trend line is good as nothing because the market will keep on going where it was going. So it's not because of the trend line. We need to clarify and make that point clear in your head that it's not because of the trend line that the market is going up. The trend line was actually broken because the market is now going up. There's a difference between the trend line being the cause of the market going up and the market being the cause of the break of the trend line. So going to the 15-minute, that's where my main structure for today is. And on the 15-minute, I can see already they have taken out this level because on the 15-minute, that level now, it has been taken out, as you can see. And on the 15-minute, it appears now as a change of character because remember, your 1 hour inducement, when you go lower to lower time frames, 15-minute, 5-minute, going lower there, you actually see that it's a what? It's a change of character like that. So having this on the 15M and knowing also that here there's nothing that is not mitigated. Most of the levels below here, they've been mitigated here. Here they've mitigated. There's nothing there to even mitigate. The only unmitigated level that I'm seeing here, they even mitigated here, unless they are coming for this one. Unless they are coming for this one. Unless they're coming for this. So on the 15-minute now, if you notice the structure that we're currently having on the DXY on the 15, already that bullish movement is actually began to the upside. And based on what we are looking forward to, it's actually the beginning of that major move that we are wanting, which is the major pullback before the major continuation to the downside. So this is the most important structure right now that you need on the dollar index. Right here, they induced to the downside. Already you can see that they're now creating higher highs and higher lows on the 15-minute there, which is good for us because already we now know that we are bullish on the DXY. Now that you're bullish on the DXY, it's a good idea because CPI already you have an idea of what most probably they will be looking forward to do on CPI. So remember, we still have up to, I think right now it's close to 4 hours, 30 minutes. And in those 4 hours, 30 minutes, what I'm basically eyeing for, if it doesn't come back here, it's okay. It's okay. Why? Because they mitigated already this level, right? What will now be happening is they will now be maybe pulling back to any other level there and just shooting up from there like that. So the clarity that you need, if ever they're not going to break or if ever they're going to break, is you'll find it on 5 minutes. But if they don't, eventually I'm anticipating them to tap here. Then by the time we'll be around 2:30 there, definitely we'll be looking forward to this. So the dollar index already, I have that's the prediction for how the dollar is going to move because that's the main all your news events, they circulate around how the dollar is going to perform. Your news events, they just move and operate based on how the dollar is going to perform. Once you understand that there's no news event that will ever be a mystery to how you're going to enter. Obviously, there are other news events where sometimes you need to wait a bit, even after the news is released, before you jump in. There are news events like that. Based on the current market structure that will be there, there are certain news events whereby sometimes you need to wait a bit even after the open. Then there are others where you don't even need to wait immediately before they even release the news. You are in already. So it all goes by market structure, where the market structure will be at that particular moment. So this is the move that I'm anticipating for CPI today on the dollar. So if the dollar is anticipated to go up like that, definitely you now know most probably what we are eyeing for on our. So yeah, this is the thing that I was telling you, that on the 5 minute as well, and if ever they don't really, but on the 5 minute, they still have a lot of room to come down. They still have a lot of room. They still have room to come down. They still have room to come down. So yeah, we can still anticipate this. We can still anticipate this. That's why we're going to have the TikTok live, so that even by the time we get to 2 o'clock, half past two, we'll still be live, so that you see where it's going to be, where it's going to be at. So remember, as I said, on the 15 minute, they tapped here already. So once once it's now half past two, which is CPI, and you find, maybe we find some structure up there, definitely to just shoot up from there without even coming down to do this. Because even if you compare and you apply your Fibonacci retracement from the top to the bottom, they've tapped almost most of the major levels. They've tapped 61.8, which is also a sensitive area. So this is my current structure right now for the dollar index, my current structure for the dollar index. Then when you now move on to your pairs now, even as you analyze, you start to see a correlation between your expectation for for what the dollar will do. You start to see a similar correspondence in how they are going to be operating. Starting with, let me start with USDJPY, which I've been talking about ever since the analysis that I showed you previously. So if you look on the DXY, I think I did this analysis with you. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? I don't remember. But I think I did this breakdown where I showed you on the 4 hour that the DXY is shooting upwardly and we are in bullish order flow. Our target is up there. And as we are in bullish order flow, it has tapped the extreme demand of that bullish order flow. And now it's even shooting up. And if you remember in the webinar or in the breakdown that I did, I even told you to buy. If you watch the video, it's actually the last video that is there on the YouTube channel. If you go back to it, you actually hear me telling people to buy USDJPY, and they said your stop loss, you can even put it below here. There's nothing wrong, because we are definitely sure that it's shooting up. The, and I also said, if you want to add more trades, or if you want to scale in and all that, that will just come as confirmations and confluences will be coming in. That's when you'll be scaling in on the positions and all that. So yeah, they've tapped the major level. Now we're just looking forward to a shoot up. So you see, it's almost a similar thing to the DXY, in the sense that DXY, there's a major push before obviously it goes down, right? That's for the DXY. But for this one, obviously, it can break, and even after breaking, then maybe it can give you a push before maybe this, right? But right now we are shooting up like this. So most probably I'm anticipating CPI to push maybe to around this level. Then maybe the next 4 hour candles maybe give you a slight news pullback before they continue and shoot up like that. That's also a very good high probability setup. So after the break up there, they can come and tap and pull back onto this demand, which is this one. So what I'm basically anticipating CPI to do, if we're looking from the 4 hour, is to take out this level here. Once they take out this level, then after CPI, after maybe even after tapping this, that's when you start to see them now dropping, giving you a news event pullback, as well as coming back to mitigate an untapped zone that will be left behind there. So this also is a very beautiful swing trade that you can even partake on. During even if you took the buy even since yesterday, you're in profit already. If you didn't, you can wait for confirmations or wait for an entry or whatever. Even news, you can also, depending on the current market structure that will be there for the moment. That's how we determine where you just jump in. You don't just jump in anywhere, unless maybe if it's news and you are sure that we are definitely shooting up, there you just jump in exactly on this on the point where the market will be. So this is what I'm anticipating: push up, down, So this downward, will be an opportunity for you to even scale in hard, add more trades, um, increase your risk. Those are the moments to do all of that because there's a confirmation here. This confirmation is basically confirming this level as a higher low. Already we have a previous higher low, we have a higher high up there. So now once this is done, it's a confirmation that is now a what? That is now a higher low. Once we now have a higher low confirmed and the market comes back to the higher low level, there you just strike hard and then you you look aside. You enter hard full margin. I'm joking, but you enter hard, you enter obviously you can increase your risk. After increasing your risk, then you just hold it, wait, anticipating, waiting for the market to shoot up to the TP target up there. So USDJPY, even if I go lower to lower time frames, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, I'll stop around 15 minutes there so that you see the current structure already that is there on 15 minutes. So this zone here, they can actually leave it behind so that they'll come back for it after they go like this. There are people who think that inside here they can even just come back here for going. That's a simple approach. Even if personally, if I was a market maker or if I was an institution, I would leave it behind as well. Leaving it behind, I know I'm also leaving behind a lot of people that are just always saying, this market, there's no way it can just go. And even the support and resistance traders, they will be waiting even for, let's say they have this as a resistance, they'll be waiting for the market to come back to the resistance, which is now a support before it goes up. So institutions also, they have that ability. They actually have that technique of leaving pressure zones so that they come back for them later on. Most of you have not been educated enough for those things. They've just told you once once they once they come out of a level, they must come back to it before you enter. Okay. They must come back to it before you enter. When are they going to come back? That's the next most important question that most people don't even get to ask. So here, most probably they can even leave out this level before. So now the most important structure now will be on 15M. 15M will help to guide us because before they change that character there, uh, is it there or it's here? Let me look closely. That was down, that was up, that was down, that was up. This was basically one move. Yeah, basically our mainly that's the major level there of change of character on 15M, which is said. So they are never going to induce before they take this out. If they're never going to induce, you now need to be smart now. You don't need to be smart. I don't know if you guys are we moving together? Some of these things now, because to me, I can easily understand it, right? That's why I'm easily explaining it. So to someone whom the thing is new, they can keep quiet while they're not even getting anything. So more clarity, I think I'll do it there on the TikTok live, because here this is the video that I just want to make it brief as much as possible, not make it long. So they've induced already here on 15M. So if they're going to change character there, of which that's the anticipation, obviously, right? They are never going to induce up until they take out this level. They're never going to induce again, to the downside. So because once they induce to the downside, they would have they already have a different market structure compared to the left. Because here, according to the left, that's a lower high, lower low, and here we now have a lower low. So if they induce anywhere here to the downside, that will now be a lower high. Once it's a lower high, they are going to take out this level, right? So most likely, I'm just looking forward to that was up, that was down. This was what happened here. Here we can just say this is one move. Then they break. Then CPI they can pull back before shooting up, shooting up like that to the next major significant level up there. So 5 minute structure will also help you determine some things there to help you determine, hey, I like this current structure that is there now. It can even give you a certain entry, a certain buy entry before even the news comes. There's an entry already that I'm seeing on USDJPY, which one can even enter before news. That was a break. They came back here. So here you have this. Who is this? Can I enter? People, they just want to enter. Listen first. Listen and understand first. Listen and understand first before you enter. Just want to enter. Can I enter where? If you entered yesterday I think I gave the buy. I don't know where it was on 5 minutes, but I think it was around down there. Then I gave the buy. That's when you're supposed to enter there. Now we have this where you can enter. Let me just look for where you can enter here because we have this already. So now it means them pulling back to a level like this. That can actually be a buy entry. So once they buy, they shoot like this. Shoot up like that level, and even all the way up there before they do the major pullback to change order flow. So order flow remain bullish like that up until they finish the move. So this is my anticipation. You can even put your stop loss below this just for safety. Uh, so that's where you can buy actually, right here on this level. That's where you can actually get your buy. That's where you can actually get your buy. Even 1 minute, let me see, just to confirm something. Yeah, it's actually a good entry. Very good entry. Just break, change character. Beautiful. Yeah, you can actually buy on that level there. You can actually buy USDJPY on that level. So this one we are done. I've explained even the CPI lookout. So CPI, maybe it will find this, maybe as the market will be maybe after the break, maybe on a pullback or whatever way it will find it. We don't know and we don't care, but we just care about the direction where we are overally shooting towards. So USDJPY, we are done there. We go on to GU. GU obviously just to do the opposite of what USDJPY is gonna do. And already I like what it has done on the hourly. I like what it has done on the hourly, which is what I was waiting for yesterday, which didn't happen yesterday. That's why I wasn't even taking any trade or position on it, because I was waiting for this inducement to the downside, which will lead to the overall pullback before the overall continuation. So, another thing, where am I expecting it to even pull back onto? Now that's now up to GU and also up to certain levels, like from down to up. You see here we have 78.6. I think I drew a level there. Was it based on the 4 hour? I think, yeah, it was based on 4 hour. That level that I drew, yeah, it was based on the 4 hour. So already now, because of the adjustment that has happened on the 1 hour, on the it now means that that is now a higher high like this simple push to the upside that you're seeing. This push to the upside is happening in form of bullish order flow. And remember what I told you about this level, that here there's a huge supply area here. There's also another one here. So they can even break this one and even come to the extreme. So that's why even after dropping like this, you have to actually partake in the buys as well to the upside. Those buys, I hopefully, I hopefully, I hopefully aim to also share that signal for this next buy that will happen either to this level or to that level up there. So I'm hoping actually to share it in the free groups there so that we all make money out of the setup and no one is left behind. So I like what has happened on the 1 hour because already that's a sign that the sellers are strongly inside. If ever they had not induced here, that was going to be a slight hiccup, but now they've induced, and as far as they've induced, they're never going to induce to the upside up until they tap the level. This understanding now is what people are still yet struggling with, whereby you know that the market, once it has induced here, for example, here, if ever they're going to, let's say Let's say here, yes, they were pulling back to the downside. They'll move like this up until you see them inducing to the upside. That's how you know that they're now going. And they'll never pull back to the downside up until they finish the move. So this was up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So here they now have the down. So they'll maintain also that inward structure. Down, up, down, up, down. They can even pull back here. Something like this. Once you get this, there you also need to strike the buys. You enter full margin. You enter full margin and you hold up to negative 27%. You thank me later. You thank me later on these entries that I'm showing you. So that will be the next major entry. And that one, it can come depending on how CPI will move today. It can come maybe later on this week, maybe around maybe Thursday, if not Friday. If it doesn't come Thursday, Friday, definitely we'll look up to it on Monday. But currently we are now flowing to the downside. So even if they pull back all the way to our internal lower high, it will just be a normal sell. To just be a normal sell here if they do come back there. Even if they don't come back fully there, you just sell because they're now in bearish order flow. So having seen that, I can even go to the 15 minute. 15 minute, I can see my adjustment to the upside. I can see my adjustment there. I can see my break already. That's bearish order flow. I can see my break. Then I said, even if they do pull back onto you here to this maybe area. Once CPI comes and you find GU here, which is exactly what I'm expecting, that will be a beautiful one. So even if they don't get there, they can even tap the breaker block and even continue dropping. So the breaker block will simply be the main demand or the previous fair value gap to the left that facilitated the. So this will be looked at as a breaker block. So even depending on how they want to do it, but mostly they usually do this one. Doing that one, they know that many people will just excite. They will be excited over the buys and they'll buy. So this is the sell that I will be looking forward to on GU during CPI. CPI, it's a sell, it's a sell. So GU, that one I gave it as well. Which one as well? Let's look at US30. Let's look at gold. Let's look at Nasdaq. US30, we're in a trade already. It hasn't tapped our. The funny thing now, the reason it's so genuine. The reason why I haven't waited for the market to tap that level. So on the 4 hour, looking on the 4 hour time frame on US30, you can see that order flow on the 4 hour is still bullish. That's so correct. It's not even wrong. Remember, this is the highest that US30 has ever gone, right? That's correct. We can see all of that. But now there is something now which is, remember what I told you yesterday, that this bearish move that you're seeing is the one, it can continue like this up until they finish changing character here. Then after they change character, they can even push maybe to this demand before they induce to the upside to create a lower high, maybe around there, before they continue like this. What I'm showing you now is what US30 will most probably be doing even in the next coming weeks, as well as the rest of March. This setup is the only setup that you need right now. If you're trading US30 alone, if that is your only pair, just draw this setup and watch. Watch now how the market will behave and will move according to this particular setup. So on the 1 hour, that's where I now realize that we are still in bearish order flow, which is good. And now someone is waiting for the market to touch that 30-minute whatever. But it has touched the fair value gap there in 30 minutes. So yeah, you can see that they're actually flowing in bearish order flow. Lower low, that's a lower low. The induced, that's a lower high. This is now my lower high. What else? What other information here? So that being my lower high, I remember we entered, where did we enter? Okay, we are in the sales already. And then I said my stop loss is 39,000. The reason why I placed 39,000 is just for safety from weak souls and whatever, right? It's up there. So personally, I no longer use stop losses. Personally, I no longer use stop losses. When I mean I no longer use stop losses, it doesn't mean that I just leave the account. No, I use invisible stop losses whereby I know my zone, I know this zone, and I know this zone. So long my zones are still intact, I just keep on holding the trades. Then once the market violates my zones and it is fully violated, not fake, but fully violated, that's when I actually come out of the trade. That's when I actually come out of the trade. So now, right now we're in the cells already. We took cells, we're in the cells. We gave the signal in the VIP group there. Our current first major TP is the change of character there. Because if they come and fail to change character, definitely they will induce go to the upside, continue going up. But if they come and change, beautiful, they'll keep on going up until they go to those levels that I showed you. 1 hour, they've tapped the fair value gap by the 30 minute. I mean, they've tapped the fair value gap, but they haven't touched the supply. Is it a concern? Not even a concern. Because remember what I told you, institutions, besides institutions, I always tell some of my students in the class that you see this difference between the entry that you were wanting and the entry that the market eventually did. This distance is not even a big distance, honestly speaking. So I usually say, even when the market is that close to your level, there is no reason why you should not enter. We are in right now and we are flowing in profit. Everyone is actually flowing in profit there. We took it in the morning. What time was it in the morning there? It was around 8. Now it's 10 now. So yeah, it was 8 o'clock. Now it's 10. And it's in profit. It's actually in profit, of which is also the same direction that I'm eyeing for on what? During CPI, we're just anticipating a continuation here. Continuation of sales, continuation of sales on the US30. So here, the confirmation that they've done inside this one. Because here, the pullback, you remember when they are pulling back, they pull back opposing the current direction. So here they did the pullback up, down, up, down, up. So they've finished the pullback by them taking it out. They finished. Then they're coming back there. Then shoot, they drop. So right now we're in sales. And sales flowing and floating nicely, flowing and floating nicely. Um, this is the current trade that we are in already. So even as news comes and all that, we know we're not even concerned about all of that, because we have a clear, clean direction of what is happening on the markets. So they didn't touch that level. They can they live it out without touching it? Yes, it's even possible. Very highly, very possible. Very possible. Very, 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 very possible for the market to even leave without tapping that level, because according to law, according to laws and principles, they did touch something of that level. For example, here they touched the order floor, or they touched the breaker block. That was an invisible breaker block that is in the middle there, this one. So here, if you notice here what happened, they broke above, then they broke downward. So them coming back here, they're coming back to retest, sort of like retesting a breaker block. That's what they actually did. That's why we took the cells exactly here where we took them. It's actually a sniper entry. I will show you some of the entries if I get time. It's a sniper. Ask anyone right now who is in the VIP. They can even show you that sniper. So here, this is the real reason. This can be actually be the reason why they might not come to touch there. Right. So it's not even a problem because we are in already. So now here, them coming and doing this, if they do close above, close below there fully, if they do close below here fully, that's how you know that they're never going to come and touch there. But if they do close above, most probably they can still touch it and just drop. So if they fail, they'll just come, maybe give this before they drop. So CPI, we're anticipating good, beautiful sales on US30, sales on GU, sales on Nasdaq, sales on your gold, sales after sales after sales after sales. So now gold as well, it has also done the same thing. Remember, yesterday they did this downward. So yeah, according to what happened yesterday, this is a lower high. That's a higher high. This was a higher low. And because we now have a lower high, they are most probably going to come for this change of character, then they maintain before the next inducement and blah blah blah, etc. etc. So this is what we have on the gold. And where you are most probably gonna enter on gold, let me give you an entry point. You can enter there. Well, that would be a good one. But also here, you can see you can also enter around these levels here because that's where order flow tapped onto. So you entering there, it's not even a problem, even if you enter here, because your stop loss is just above here, or even just above the entire level like that. So you need to put your stop loss above there. You're still correct. You're not even wrong. Not even wrong. So from there, we're anticipating a drop. That's why I encourage you, if you have chosen to trade news, kindly use invisible stop losses. Invisible stop losses, it's not like you are neglecting the trade. You are not even neglecting the trade. You are basically watching the trade as it will be happening. So that's what we call an invisible stop loss. So gold, we're anticipating drops. Already we are bearish inside there. We're anticipating a continuation of this. So CPI, it can even come. Then it will find us as the market will be coming to the downside. Right. So I